Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay. Where's my guy at? All right, Kaname Tosen is an A tier for me. Um, what are your thoughts on Mr. Tosen? He's an awesome character, even if you're not counting the novels. But what do you think about him?
Oh, I think he's right now for all the characters we have in A tier. I think he's tip top A tier.
Yeah.
He's the perfect example of everything that's wrong with Soul Society, and I think that's going to get explored after this one shot chapter. He is, even if you didn't have the novels, I loved Tosin from day one. Welcome, folks, to 2 Cents Wanted, and today's video is about Kaname Tosen. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't do my usual spiel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Now, I must say that this video is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's really the actual reason I wanted to do videos. I came up with this idea, or I guess I didn't really come up with the idea, but it's been something that's nagging me way back since Soul Society arc, because I feel like Kaname Tosen gets a bad rap. People don't like him because of his bad showing against Kenpachi in the Soul Society arc, and because for some reason he's connected to that kind of guy that just says justice, justice, justice all the time. So today I kind of want to dispel that. If you are a Sajin fan, I apologize. This video will be trashing Sajin, so if you don't like that, please don't click off, because I think it's important to hear, because I am talking about his character and Tosen's character and how they relate to one another. So with that, here's my 2 cents. Now, let me put this thought in your head and just keep this context while watching this video. Imagine a world where Soul Society wasn't betrayed by Tosen. A world where Aizen didn't kill the Central 46, which I remind you were a corrupt group of bureaucrats and aristocrats who allowed something so egregious to happen to Tosen's friend in the first place. Imagine a world where Ichigo Kurosaki was not born and didn't save Rukia, and in the process changed Byakuya's cold heart, who at the time put his duty over moral good. Imagine a world where Ichigo Kurosaki, a mere human, didn't move the old heart of Head Captain Yamamoto by saving Soul Society, or a world where Tosen didn't raise Hisagi with the morals he currently has, to fear power and seek truth and justice. Take all that into account and just think about how many more people, like Tosen's friend, would have had to have died before any change was implemented to the Soul Society. This is what Tosen is fighting against. For every poor, unfortunate soul that may come through Soul Society, he changed the course of their life and they did not even know it. I'm not justifying what Tosen was going to do to Karakura Town, nor am I justifying what he did on the experiments conducted on the souls. But anything done between him and Soul Society was inevitable. The Soul Reapers exist to keep balance and to uphold the system. Tearing down the system put Tosen in conflict with Soul Society off the bat. Kaname Tosen's actions taken alongside Aizen is actually what led to Soul Society improving. Aizen, Gin, and Tosen created the scenarios for things to change. Ultimately, that group sent Soul Society toward a better future. What I think happens often is people conflate Soul Society with the good guys. Soul Society becomes the benevolent ones after the Soul Society arc. But in truth, that's not true. This is the same group that maimed the Soul King and created the cycle of life and death. Now I hear you say, that was the old guard. New Soul Society didn't do that and shouldn't have to bear that sin. I hear you, but Soul Society hasn't exactly improved since then. Remember, the Central 46 is responsible for people in places like Tokonata, Maggot's Nest, Rukongai, Mayuri, and many other things, all of which allow immoral actions to be taken under the guise of protecting Soul Society, or exist to protect said system which is wrong in the first place. What does poor lawless citizens living in the Rukongai, grouped together the way they are, have to do with protecting the Seirete? They could easily take care and protect those people, but they give bare minimum effort. Nothing the Central 46 and Seirete does explicitly puts them in a position as the benevolent ones. Tosen was not wrong when he said he was following the path of least bloodshed. He believed bringing those like Tokonata and the people who allow his continued existence to justice was the only way to get his revenge and bring about peace. Aizen and Tosen were bringing justice to the countless people the Central 46 and aristocrats harmed and potentially would harm. Even if we remove Can't Figure Your Own World novels, nothing changes. We know Tosen attempted to get justice without seeking revenge or violence from the manga, but justice was denied him. Tosen was very upfront about why he joined the Gote 13. He didn't see what he was doing as bad, nor did he see him betraying his friends as the sole reason he betrayed them. The betrayal comes from not wanting to be assimilated into the Serite. What do you do when actual justice is denied you? What's always bothered me is many people do not see the issue with this. Why would letting go of your hatred and being the best captain you can while trying to change things from the inside not be a good thing? Because if Tosen were to take that route, he is now complicit in what the Serite does. No change would come because old man Yama hadn't changed himself. I never understood why people can't see this. As a captain, Tosen wouldn't get the justice he was already seeking for his friend, nor would he be able to save people in the future. This passive existence is not justice. He would have to work within the bounds of the Soul Society, within their rules. This leads me comfortably into the second part of this video, Sajin Komamura. I will preface this by stating I do not like Sajin. He is one of my least favorite captains and characters. But my position here isn't affected by my dislike of him, because Sajin actually has one of my favorite Zanpakuto. But getting back on topic, what is the sole reason that Sajin believes in people and the Soul Society? It was reiterated over and over again. Yamamoto. Sajin thinks that because Yamamoto accepted him into the society, and there are other people who don't judge him based on his appearance or where he may be from, like Iba, that it somehow makes Tosen's position unreasonable. But it isn't. If justice isn't served, it is the right of people to seek it on their own. It's ridiculous. Sajin has nothing to offer as a fair rebuttal to Tosen except revenge is bad. It's like Sajin is arguing with Tosen and removing the context of their positions. There was no justice served. There was no way for Tosen to get justice. What's worse is Sajin won't let go of the "you betrayed us for power" thing. He says it over and over again. Power can be corrupting, yes, but often good people need power to stop those who already have it. Sajin sounds like a child in these exchanges, as if gaining power is somehow in itself bad. By Sajin's logic, Ichigo should have just did his best to ignore the hollow, suppress it, and just try to increase his other abilities, his Soul Reaper abilities. I mean, most of us had the thought, damn Ichigo, learn some Kido. But this is essentially what Sajin is arguing, that the pursuit of power that isn't your own is somehow corrupting. Sajin then acknowledges that he noted Tosen had darkness in him. Sajin notes that Tosen never mentioned how much he loved the world. He then rants about how he would be there for Tosen, to pull him onto the right path, to share in their joy, their grief, and protect one another, all to get Tosen to say he loved the world. Sajin knew this betrayal was a possibility. He was willfully ignorant, and this is the thing I dislike most about Sajin, his willful ignorance and passive existence in the Soul Society. Like I said earlier, if Tosen were to follow that route, he would just be a cog in the system. There would be nothing to change. And in their exchanges, their conversation, and their fight in Fate Karakura Town, Sajin never tried to know Tosen's pain. Sajin admits to their superficial friendship built on a concept of duty and justice that he understood they did not share. Their sense of it wasn't exactly the same. This is where a character like Pain from Naruto comes in handy with his philosophy. Sajin and Tosen come to blows simply because Sajin doesn't understand Tosen's pain. We know this because Sajin goes down the same route later. He can't truly relate at the time. He can't truly save his friend because he doesn't understand him. This lack of understanding eventually leads to Sajin's own downfall. However, I must admit, Sajin does something beautiful in their fight, at the end of their fight. He doesn't ask Tosen to forgo his hatred, or to even forgive Sajin. He just asks that he doesn't let revenge turn a once peaceful man, being Tosen, into a monster. Sajin shows that he can put his own desires aside to try and comfort his friend, to try and appeal to his humanity. But sadly, what Sajin also does not understand is that he himself represents Tosen's greatest fear, becoming part of a corrupt system and becoming the monster he fights against. Tosen was always going to become a monster, I believe, but he chose what monster he wanted to be and stuck to it. He could have been a passive monster like Sajin, or the monster he became, a monster who shapes his own future, as opposed to just letting it happen to him and letting it happen to others. Sajin, being a passive monster, sees his punishment in the Thousand-Year Blood War. He falls just like Tosen, and ultimately it is 100% deserved. Tosen's friend in this scenario becomes Yamamoto. Yamamoto is murdered by a monster who is the head of a machine of ruthless killers invading Soul Society, not unlike the vicious killers in Soul Society, stopping Yuha with any invasion by the Vandenreich. So Sajin seeks power enough to stop Yuha. He's taking the path of least bloodshed, even though he has to kill people and sacrifice his humanity to get it, just like Tosen. Sajin then desires more power that he can only obtain by accepting a bestial power. The situation is now inverted. Sajin becomes human to end up a beast, and Tosen becomes a beast and ends up a human. All this for the sake of revenge and power, to restore order and bring about what they consider justice. Sajin really doesn't see the hypocrisy in this moment. It's sad and tragic, but deserved. What I find weird is, from what I've seen, people like Sajin also like Shunsui. They especially like Shunsui's quote in Thousand-Year Blood War of, "No matter who wronged who first, once two sides engage in war, they are both wrong." You can't justify what Sajin does and say it's different or better than what Tosen does if you accept that. Even if you don't subscribe to that comment or thought, and you just think that the circumstances of Sajin's revenge tour was justified or different, just remember that Sajin did it purely for the sake of avenging Yamamoto, just like Tosen for his friend, and that Sajin was fighting under the Gotei 13, a corrupt group, just like Tosen did while working for Aizen. Revenge is bad. It is not justice, I agree. But if Sajin didn't want to end up like Tosen, he should have fought to protect those still alive. His reasoning shouldn't have been of revenge, but restoration. If this is why Sajin fought, anyone, including Sajin, could have argued that there was a difference, but that isn't the reason he fought. Kaname and Komamura are the exact same, whether people want to accept that or not. So just to kind of wrap up this video, I just wanted to kind of give a conclusion, kind of summarize everything I've said already. Simply put, I think Tosen gets a very unfair rap in the fan base, and that he truly isn't that different from what we saw Sajin do in the Thousand-Year Blood War. A lot of us felt bad for Sajin when we saw what happened to him, but me, I kind of enjoyed that. I thought it was a fate he deserved after what he did to Tosen. And in the same vein, what Tosen did to him was kind of messed up, and Tosen's fate is deserved as well. I'm not saying one is better than the other, believe me. I just think that the characters and those arcs are the same. It's just we got to see them at different points, and I think sometimes that perspective matters. Seeing a journey at different points. It's easy to love, for example, Severus Snape from the Harry Potter series, because we see kind of retroactively at the end his love for Lily, and it kind of recolors a lot of the things he did. He's still kind of a mean person, and he isn't perfectly good. I mean, nobody is, but we see that he was kind of just a kid, bullied, became bad, and then kind of worked his way back to light, which is admirable. It's a redemption arc that we can all get behind. But what often people don't think about when they think about redemption arcs is that if you were on the outside looking in, if you were just watching this as a court proceeding unfold from a distance or on the news, you know, you would see things a bit differently. You wouldn't think that person could redeem themselves. You would see them as a monster. So just keep that in mind, please. Wow, that was a mouthful. Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you to my subscribers, all of you so far. Thank you to Captain Havoc, who has been nothing but supportive on this journey. Please, if you have the time, hop into his Discord. I will try to leave it in the link, and go give him a follow on his YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Please, thank you, and happy holidays, folks.